Hi, everybody. Thank you for pausing to ponder with us tonight.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm very excited for our topic tonight.
Why are you excited for our topic tonight?
This is like a really powerful topic. It was requested last...
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
When our audience requests things, it's refreshing.
Absolutely. And it's even more exciting when they request something that I love to talk about because there's brain science behind this. There's literally, scientists have figured out how our brain works when it comes to our habits.
Habits. Is that
Yes.
what we're talking about?
Yes, we're talking about habits. So what is...
Well, let me ask you this as we get into habits. Of all the things you train on, where does habits fall in to what you love to train on? What number would you say that is?
Well, it's all in the top number one. But also in number one is emotional intelligence, it's behavioral styles, all of that. You can't separate all of that out. I mean, you can, right? We're going to talk only about habits today. But really, it goes all together. And it's all in how our brain works and how we work, how we choose to do things. So it's all together.
So why is this topic relevant? I mean, why are we why are we spending time talking about this topic to our audience? What's the objective? Why is it important?
It's amazing what you can do with something once you understand and know how to work with it.
Yeah.
So now that we can share with you what's really happening in your brain, you are going to be more empowered to choose your habits wisely.
Good. Well, let's get started.
Okay. What's a good habit that you have?
As I wake up every day, I think about, okay, what habits do I have like first in the day? And I usually get up about 10 minutes early, and I go and I do my brain treatments. Right.
And I can tell, okay, seriously, I can tell when he has these, which is every morning. Tell him about your habit. This is pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. So every morning I get up, it's usually about 10 to 5. And I go in my office, and I have this app. It's from Headspace, by the way. It's Headspace. It's a great app, and it navigates you through the ability to become more mindfulness or have more mindfulness and begin to learn how to meditate. And not just superficial meditation. We're talking pretty deep meditation. And while I'm meditating, I also have a near-infrared light that I shine on my brain. And so I do cognitive therapy through near-infrared light. And it stimulates I won't get into the whole mitochondria and the ADP and
you
the
are
energy.
Getting into it, by the way.
But it really begins to stimulate your cognitive abilities.
We'll talk about that. If you're interested, we'll talk about that in another video.
But you said that you could really notice when I do this. Why?
Okay, so I get up 20 minutes later at 10 after 5. And it's like this super bouncy ball going all over the house. To the point that I'm like, dude, my eyes are just opening. Would you relax and come on, we're going to go for a walk and then we're going to do this. And I'm like, it's 10 after 5. 10 after 5 in the morning. I did not get up and do near-infrared light treatment. Let me catch up to you.
So the best way I can explain how I feel afterwards, obviously when you meditate, you bring peace and you regulate your heart and your breathing and everything like that. But in my brain, it's almost like counterintuitive in a way, because as I get my therapy, have you ever taken your hands and just kind of softly, just kind of massaged your skull? That's what it feels like. If there's a physical sensation, it's literally, you feel like you're just massaging your skull. It's crazy, but yeah, you get going.
Okay, so that's a good habit.
It is a good habit. Automatically, every day I do that.
Yeah, it is my alarm clock. It's great because then I know I got 20 more minutes left.
Yeah. And I don't do it very long. It's usually about a 10-minute segment 10 to 12 minute segment for my meditation, and then when that's over with, I shut the machine off. Because obviously, like everything else, all things in moderation.
So what is one of your bad habits?
Probably, and I'm very serious, I'm going to look into the camera when I say this, I think I love you too much. That's one of my bad habits.
You love who too much?
You. I'm in love with my wife too much.
Seriously? Do you want me to list your bad habits?
I'm sure we would be here for a while. After an hour, they might start chiming off. But
okay, well, we'll talk about one of my bad habits. firmly believe that after every single meal, you need dessert. I need something sweet. I need to get rid of whatever the meal was, like the garlic taste or the spice. I love spicy, but I need to get that out of my mouth.
I gotta stop you and call whatever you want to call here, because this isn't true. If you, like my wife, live in Wisconsin, you guys actually determine your restaurants
Based
by
on the
dessert
desserts.
menu.
Yes. I don't think it's just Wisconsin. I think it's, yeah.
Well, that's the only. I mean,
It's just my family.
it's
Yeah.
desserts, and if you guys could, you take it first, not after your
Oh,
meal.
hello. If you don't have room for dessert, you ate way too much of the main meal. That's sinful.
Okay, so
But you know what else? My scale and my cholesterol are telling me this is a bad habit. So, I actually, what?
cholesterol too.
Yeah. I mean, sugar, yeah, okay. Anyway, that's another session. So, one day, while I was pondering this habit of mine, I was reading a really good book by Charles Duhigg, and it's The Power of Habits. Wow. I mean, if you want to go in depth, that's the book to read. But what I learned was what's happening in our brain when a habit is activated. So it's a circle. It's a movement that's happening, right? The habit is in the center, but you have two things on both sides. You have a trigger that's going to activate the habit, and you have a reward that you're looking for.
It's going to reinforce the habit.
Yeah, if I don't get the reward, I'm continuing through the habit cycle till I get the reward.
Yeah.
Okay? So here's the deal. The trigger and the reward are never going to go away, ever. There's always going to be something that's going to trigger me to go into my habit, like dinner, non-sweet. Actually, I have ice cream for a snack and I still want a piece of chocolate after. So who knows what that issue is, right? But there's always a trigger and there's always a reward that I'm seeking. And what's interesting is, like, during the day after my lunch, I mean, I might have a salad, and then I start going through the cupboards because I'm like, I want something just a little to finalize it, like just kind of seals the meal. So my habit might be M&Ms, it might be ice cream, but now what I'm doing is I'm changing the habit. That trigger is still going to happen. The reward is still wanted. It's my habit that has to change. So now I'm buying some dark chocolate covered pomegranates or dark chocolate blueberry, right? So okay, it's sweet, but it's on the healthier side of sweet with a little fruit in it too. I can justify anything when it comes to sweet. But the whole point here is your trigger will always happen. There's always something that will turn on that desire to kick in the habit, whether it's good or bad.
So with the audience, because I'm a simple person, I think we need to dumb it down for me, okay? So the trigger you're saying is that craving? Could a trigger be a craving? Help me understand what the trigger is so
Okay.
that I know now, okay, this is my habit.
So actually, the book really does a good job at helping you dissect truly what your trigger is. I think I know what the trigger is.
Okay.
Anytime I eat anything non-sweet. But I played investigator with myself. I created a beautiful spreadsheet and I started documenting what really is happening just anytime I eat anything. And all it was a factual documentation. I was documenting who I was with when I had meals, what I had, what I wanted, just every possible scenario, not just food related, but my surroundings as well. And what I found out was my true trigger. It had nothing to do with just eating anything. There were two things in play when I would have chocolate or ice cream or sweets.
This is interesting. What is it?
Number one, I would definitely indulge when I'm alone. And number two, I'd indulge when I'm bored.
Boredom and being alone.
If I am around people and busy, there's no indulging. And here's an example. It was very common for me to teach classes at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, that's right after lunch. So then I'd bring little chocolate treats to the teachings because I don't want people falling asleep and getting that lunchtime slumber going on, right? I don't participate in the chocolates because I'm talking and I'm working and I'm with people and I don't want to spit on people, right? And I was busy with my work. I wasn't bored and I wasn't alone. But when I would go back to my office after lunch at 1 o'clock and check emails, Boredom. Give me the M&Ms, and nobody's around for me to talk to, so let me indulge.
So that's interesting you say that, because I think my problem with eating not so healthy is out of boredom as well. Because if I'm popping throughout the day and I miss the meal, if I don't get lunch, I'm fine.
Right?
I'm fine. But if I'm not stimulated and going all day long,
Yeah.
all I do is snack.
Or how about this one? The other morning I got up. I went to bed before John the night before. I got up. There was a dirty dishes of old mac and cheese, leftover mac and cheese, and there were dirty dishes with Dorito crumbs.
This is not the place
This was
to air
all
our laundry.
after 10:30 p.m. that you indulged in a little snack. Okay, but here's the deal. Okay, so laugh with us, right? We have some bad habits that we're trying to fix.
So as we're talking, trigger is boredom or being
Well,
alone or whatever.
for me it is.
Yeah.
That's not what it is for you. I mean, you might have a correlation here, but the true art here is you have to figure out what your trigger is. Because if you think it's the wrong trigger, you're not going to fix it with a new habit.
Right.
Because that original trigger is still going to kick in at some point.
And you've done it by documenting.
Yeah, and then it's like an investigator. You're going off of the facts, and you're measuring at a very narrow window to get specific with it. And the book really gives a great example. So it's worth the read.
And what's that book again?
Habits by Charles Duhigg.
Okay.
Now, the reward also doesn't go away. So for me to be like, oh, I'll just, go do something else, there's something in my brain that's like, let's finalize the meal here. Let's seal it with a little sweet. So that's why I said the trigger and the reward don't go away. It's the habits that you have to change. But you can create new triggers that help maybe bypass the original trigger, but help adapt to it so that the habit then connects. Now here's something. I just heard it the other day. This was so good. Habits is the opposite of decision.
Habits is the opposite of decision.
Have you ever made a decision in your life, like my friend actually, she made a decision that she's going to lose some weight. Okay? New decision. How easy is it for you to do? She was going to get more exercise. She wants to walk 3 miles a day. That's her new decision. How easy is that if you're not creating systems or triggers that put you into a new habit?
Right.
She downloaded a new app, the Couch to 5K app. She has it in her calendar. These are systems that's helping her move into this new habit. And then I heard something else in a podcast about tiny habits. Just make tiny changes. My friend Karen is really, really inspirational with this. Years ago, she just weighed more than she wanted to. And she had this revelation that she enjoys watching TV at night. Maybe what I'll do is just during commercials, I'm going to stand up and just walk in place. That's all she did for months. And she started losing weight. So then she started thinking, what if I did a little more? Now she walks 4 miles every morning while she's reading and listening to podcasts. Oh, by the way, she's got a paralyzed leg. She does it on a treadmill with a brace on her knee. Tiny habits, tiny habits. She's also the person that says, oh, I love candy corn, or I love what are those seasonal snacks, Peeps, at Easter time, but she'll just give herself one Thin Mint cookie. That's torturous to me to just have one. But anyway, that's her system. That's her habit. She gets one fix and then she's done. The trigger's still there. The Girl Scouts still come to the door and ask you, do you want to order? Oh, by the way, I have them with me, so I'll give them to you right now. But she puts them in the freezer. She just takes one out. That's her systems, and that's her tiny habits that she has in place.
And we've learned that all this stuff, if done in moderation, isn't bad for you, and it's your reward that you're talking about.
Yes.
Is that I can be good. If I do this, then I get this.
Yeah, exactly. So my encouragement to you all is, first of all, hey, now we know how the brain is working. We know what's happening. We know it's our habits we need to adjust. Start with tiny habits. Create a new tiny habit and do it for the next 3 months.
I think that's the secret, is to start small.
Yes.
And work your way big.
Because then that decision is in place, and now it's a habit, and now I can make a new decision and add to the habit. I'm more likely to keep the habit instead of get rid of it after 12 days.
How often do we find ourselves making these huge habits changing? That I'm done.
Right.
I'm done with this
Give
stuff.
me the ice cream, the whole tub.
I am done eating sweets for the rest of my life.
Oh no, don't do that to yourself.
First of
Still
all,
enjoy
is
it.
that a
not-
feasible goal?
No, it's not maintainable.
It isn't. But give
Tiny
yourself
habits.
one small.
Tiny habits.
Yeah, good.
Just tiny habits.
Like it. What else? Anything else?
What's your tiny habit you're gonna take on this week?
I'm gonna eat dessert after every meal.
That's not
That'll
a
be
good
my
habit.
tiny habit.
That's not a good habit.
I don't know.
My tiny habit that I'm gonna start this week is I'm gonna get my Couch to 5K app back out because it's lighter out in the morning. It's still kind of cold, very cold, but I can do this. It's time to get my cardio back into shape.
My habit that I've instituted and I haven't done great at, but I'm going to reinforce it, is that at least once a day, for one of my meals, whether it's not breakfast, but lunch or dinner, I'm going to have a salad. That'll be my meal.
Okay. Oh, and we have everything in the fridge for you, baby.
So hopefully this has been valuable to you. Believe you me, this has really changed our lives. Is the concept of creating good habits, because one way or another you are going to have a habit. Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it edifying you and getting you to where you want to be, or is it a bad habit that's kind of pulling you away? Because good or bad, you're going to have habits. And if you're not mindful of this, bringing awareness to it and then being intentional with what you're doing, you're going to keep going down that road. And then you're going to look at yourself one day and maybe not be happy with yourself. Whether it's a physical or the mental or professional or personal, whatever it is. Decide your habits wisely and then really start to pick, like you said, jotting it down, recording it.
New systems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody's going to change it except you. So whatever decision that you want, whatever you want in life, it's only you. Create some good habits, tiny habits. It'll grow into big habits.
Awesome job. Good.
Thanks for pausing this week. We'll see you next week, and we might even continue on this topic. See you then.